The original Nissan Qashqai has been a sales success in the way the iPhone has for Apple. It was one of the first cars to popularize the so-called crossover genre, blending elements of family hatchbacks, people carriers and off-roaders, and becoming a commercial success in the process. Over 2 million have rolled off the production line since its launch in 2007. So the follow-up has big shoes to fill, then. This is the all-new Nissan Qashqai, wider and longer but also lighter and more efficient than before. It's a thoroughly competent addition to the crossover class that offers an improvement over its predecessor in every area. Greater practicality, more efficient engines and a nicer interior all combine to make it a family car that's well worth your attention. Improved interior. The outgoing Qashqai was beginning to look and feel its age, and the new car has a far more contemporary appearance, both inside and out. It's on the inside that the biggest leap has been made, with more up-to-date design cues and higher quality materials. Fit and finish still isn't perfect, but it is an improvement over its predecessor. Top trims enjoy a new Nissan Connect multimedia system displayed on a 7-inch touch screen, with digital radio and smartphone connectivity. Happily, for the cabin's main controls, Nissan has stuck to conventional buttons and dials which are logically laid out and easy to use. Practicality. Boosted interior storage space is improved with a large central storage box between the front seats. To make room for this, the Qashqai now uses an electronic parking brake switch rather than the conventional handbrake of old. There's more space for passengers too, with greater headroom than before. One slight niggle is that over-the-shoulder visibility is still restricted by the large rear pillars, making checking the Qashqai's blind spot tricky at times. Luggage volume is increased by 20 litres and the boot floor is made up of 2 panels, which can be repositioned to create either a deeper boot or a totally flat load area when the rear seats are folded down. There's also space under the boot floor to stow the parcel shelf when not in use. This time there's no Qashqai Plus 2 version, that will be replaced by a separate 7-inch seat the model in the near future. 2 petrol and 2 diesel engines. There are 4 engines available from launch, a pair of petrols and a pair of diesels, all turbocharged. The 2 diesels, 1.5 and 1.6 litres respectively, are likely to make up the majority of sales in the UK. The 1.6-litre diesel is available with the choice of 2 or 4-wheel drive, and also has the option of a CVT automatic gearbox. The 4-wheel drive version is manual only, though. On the road the Qashqai performs very well. Although it does feel bulky, it's very easy to drive with safe, assured handling. Particularly impressive is the lack of engine noise at motorway speeds. Excellent efficiency. The first-gen Qashqai was a big seller among company car drivers, and we can expect more of the same from its successor, with 60% of sales expected to be in the fleet market. Most relevant to fleet buyers is the 1.5-litre diesel, which has CO2 emissions rated at just 99 GkM, making for attractively low tax costs. Fuel economy and CO2 emissions are attractive across the range as a whole, in fact, with even the largest petrol engine averaging a claimed 50 miles per gallon with CO2 emissions of 132 GkM. The all-new Qashqai is a strong performer that builds on the success of the original. It's well worth considering even against the likes of the Mazda CX-5 and Skoda Yeti. For everything you need to know, click through the categories above and below for our detailed Nissan Qashqai review. Performance. There are 4 engines available, 2 petrol and 2 diesel. All are turbocharged and fitted with a stop-start system, which automatically cuts the engine in certain situations when the car is stationary to save fuel and reduce emissions. See the running costs section for fuel economy and CO2 figures. Petrol engines. The range kicks off with the 1.2-litre direct injection gasoline turbocharged, in case you were wondering, engine with 113 bhp and 190 Nm of torque. While 1.2 litres might sound a little on the small side to power what is a fairly large car, Nissan claims it has zestier performance than the old 1.6-litre petrol engine fitted to the previous Qashqai, as well as being more economical. On the road it's very quiet and smooth, although a little lacking in performance at low revs. Overtaking can be quite hard work, and to get the most from it you need to keep the revs up. At lower speeds around town it feels very much at home, however, and for urban driving is arguably the pick of the range. Headline Nissan Qashqai performance figures belong to the 1.6-litre digged engine, which is released in autumn 2014. It generates 148 bhp and 240 Nm of torque and promises to offer flexible performance with strong and gear acceleration. Despite the performance, it's claimed to be very economical on fuel. Diesel engines like the outgoing Qashqai, there's a 1.5-litre DC diesel engine on offer, but it's now quieter, smoother and more economical than before. It's been tweaked by Nissan's engineers for an extra 20 Nm of pulling power too, to help in gear acceleration. It's quiet during normal driving, only becoming noisy when extended and then no worse than most other diesels. Its extra torque over the entry-level petrol makes it easier to drive in some respects. Top diesel is the 1.6-litre DC unit with 128 bhp, carried over from the previous Qashqai. It's available with either 2- or 4-wheel drive. It too is flexible and fairly quiet on the road. Transmission options: the 1.6-litre diesel Qashqai is available with either 2- or 4-wheel drive. All other engine options are two-wheel drive only. Like the previous Qashqai, two-wheel drive models are likely to make up the vast majority of sales owing to their lower running costs. All models come as standard with a 6-speed manual gearbox, although Nissan's new Xtronic CVT continuously variable transmission automatic gearbox is available with the 1.6-litre diesel engine if desired. Nissan has engineered artificial steps into the CVT transmission to avoid the rubber band feeling common to this type of automatic gearbox. It's something of a success, the transmission feeling quite similar to a regular automatic gearbox on the road. New automatic option from 2014. From 2014 Nissan offered the 1.2-litre petrol engine with a 6-speed automatic transmission option from Ascenta trim upwards, promising CO2 emissions of 129 gkm and economy of 50.4 miles per gallon on a combined cycle. Handling: car-like handling was one of the key attributes of the original Qashqai, and the 2014 model continues the theme. Although there's plenty of body roll when cornering, it's well controlled and the car feels safe and stable at all times. It's certainly not exciting to drive, but as sure-footed family transport it's hard to criticize. There's plenty of electronic witchcraft going on behind the scenes to keep the Qashqai on the straight and narrow, with different levels of braking force applied to each individual wheel while cornering or traveling over undulating surfaces to keep the Qashqai's body as flat and stable as possible. As well as making the car more nimble, Nissan says this also improves comfort for passengers. Four-wheel drive versions get a more sophisticated suspension setup with a multi-link layout at the rear. Ride quality for all versions regardless of drivetrain is very good, with both large bumps and smaller imperfections absorbed smoothly. Equipment: the Qashqai was launched with 4 trim levels available: Vizier, Ascenta Premium and Techno. Standard Nissan Qashqai equipment entry-level Vizier derivatives are all fitted with manual air conditioning, a 5-inch display screen for the infotainment system which includes Bluetooth and USB connectivity, hill start assist, heated mirrors and cruise control. You don't get alloy wheels, though. 16-inch steel eyes are standard fit for the Vizier. Like the rest of the range, you get a tire repair kit rather than a spare wheel as standard. A proper spare is an optional extra. Moving up to the Ascenta grade adds 17-inch alloy wheels in silver, Dual zone automatic air conditioning and front fog lamps along with automatic headlamps and wipers. Extra interior kit includes plusher seat fabric, a rear armrest with a cup holder, leather trim for the steering wheel and gear knob, and 2 extra speakers for the stereo. Ascenta Premium versions gain an upgraded multimedia system called Nissan Connect. This includes DAB digital radio and smartphone connectivity, with a range of apps in the pipeline for social networking, music and entertainment. Also on the kit list are parking sensors front and rear, keyless entry and push-button start, a rear view camera which usefully is self-cleaning, and a panoramic glass roof, which helps make the cabin less claustrophobic. Several active safety technologies are standard for this trim, including front collision avoidance scans the road ahead via radar and issues an audible warning if it detects an imminent collision, before applying the brakes automatically in an emergency. Lane departure warning alerts the driver if they drift out of lane without indicating, and high beam assist which automatically switches the headlamps from full beam to avoid dazzling other traffic. The top-level Tecna trim features 19-inch alloy wheels, roof rails and a glass roof. On the inside there are heated seats with partial leather upholstery and a 7-inch touchscreen display with smartphone connectivity and Nissan's around view camera system to help with parking and low-speed maneuvering. This uses cameras on all sides of the car to create a color display bird's eye view of its surroundings. Front and rear parking sensors are standard too. The Tecna can also go one step further and park itself. The Park Assist system can autonomously steer into parallel and bay parking spaces while the driver controls the pedals. There's also a limited run launch edition called the Qashqai Premier, restricted to 290 cars in the UK, with initial sales reserved for existing Nissan customers. Based on the Tecna trim, Premier editions feature numbered badges and are available only in black with a 1.6-litre diesel engine and 4-wheel drive. Standard kit includes partial leather and Alcantara trim, 19-inch alloy wheels, roof rails and a glass roof. Optional Nissan Qashqai accessories, Vizier and Ascenta models can be spec'd with the optional Smart Vision pack, which includes front and rear parking sensors, an auto-dimming anti-dulling mirror and 3 active safety technologies from Nissan's Safety Shield collection: front collision avoidance, lane departure warning and traffic sign recognition. All of the above is standard on the Ascenta Premium and Tecna trims. Other safety technologies such as driver attention alert, blind spot warning and high beam assist are optional extras. A sat-nav system is available as part of the Nissan Connect multimedia system. It's broadly effective but a little last-minute at times with its instructions, making for the occasional hasty lane change. Currently in development is a free augmented reality app for both iOS and Android smartphones, enabling the user to point their phone at items in the cabin and have an explanation of their function appear on the screen. A similar app for the engine bay is planned too. Ascenta Premium replaced Bintech in 2014. At the end of 2014, the Qashqai lineup was boosted to 5 trims, with Bintech replacing Ascenta Premium. The greys on offer now include Vizier, Ascenta, Bintech, Bintech Plus and Tecna. Bintech specification includes 18-inch alloys, a round view monitor, automatic folding mirrors. Bintech Plus adds roof rails and panoramic glass roof as standard, while Bintech Plus adds a full-length panoramic glass roof and roof rails for an additional £550. Other tech highlights include intelligent key with push-button start, front and rear parking sensors, automatic folding mirrors and an auto-dimming rear-view mirror. Comfort. Although the new Qashqai's roofline is actually 15mm lower than the car it replaces, there is slightly more front and rear headroom than before. The roof doesn't slope quite as much at the rear as the outgoing model, making life easier for tall rear passengers. There's a bit more shoulder room than before, too. Nissan Qashqai comfort levels are also boosted by the seats, which Nissan claims were inspired by NASA research to provide optimum support. Just how much NASA input they actually contain we don't know, but they certainly feel comfortable and supportive over long journeys. Road and engine noise has been improved over the previous generation. The 1.5-litre diesel engine is a little less vocal than before, and at motorway speeds both diesel and petrol units are whisper quiet. Ride quality over imperfect surfaces is good too. Like the previous model, rear visibility isn't fantastic. The tiny glass portholes in the large rear pillars don't really offer a clear view for overhead blind spot checking. Practicality. Nissan Qashqai Practicality credentials have been boosted for the new generation model with greater interior space and luggage capacity. The tailgate opens higher than before and boot volume is now 430 litres, with the seats up 20 litres more than previously. On all trims the rear seats fold in a 60 hours 40 minutes split and fold almost completely flat. The boot floor is made up of two panels which can be positioned at two heights, either lower to increase boot space or higher to make for a flat floor when the rear seats are folded. In their highest position there isn't much of a lip between the boot space and tailgate, making it reasonably easy to slide heavy items out of the boot. Both floor panels have a carpet surface on one side and a wipe clean surface on the other, helpful when carrying wet or muddy items. The rearward panel can also be stood upright to divide the boot into two sections, to separate dry and wet items for example, or just to help stop your shopping rolling around. Helpfully, the parcel shelf can be stored under the boot floor when required. A tire picket in lieu of a spare wheel is standard. A proper spare wheel is available at extra cost. Plastic hooks to hang shopping bags on are molded into the boot sides, while inside the cabin there is more interior storage space than before. Interior storage has been boosted, with a large central storage box between the front seats. This features an aux-in socket and USB port, with a space under the lid to run a cable through so devices can still be plugged in when not stowed in the box itself. Safety. In the Euro NCAP test the Qashqai scored the full 5 stars with particular high scores for adult and child protection, as well as a strong score for pedestrian safety. Various active Nissan Qashqai safety technology systems are available under Nissan's Safety Shield banner. Depending on trim, some are standard and some are extras at extra cost. See the equipment section for details. Systems available include front collision avoidance and forward emergency braking, scans the road ahead via radar and issues an audible warning if it detects an imminent collision, before applying the brakes automatically in an emergency. Driver attention alert displays a warning on the instrument panel should steering inputs become erratic in a way that suggests the driver is drowsy. Traffic sign recognition. Front-facing camera reads speed limit signs and displays them on the instrument panel. Function works abroad in Europe. 2. Lane departure warning alerts the driver if they drift out of lane without indicating. This is actually very irritating in practice. It's hair trigger sensitive and emits a harsh beeping noise if you touch a white line. Blind spot warning. The same cameras used in the around view monitor system used to help with parking can detect vehicles hidden in the Qashqai's blind spot and illuminate a light in the corresponding windscreen pillar to warn the driver. This isn't as effective as similar systems which illuminate a light in the door mirror glass. In bright sunlight, it's easy to miss the light in the pillar. Moving object detection. Should a moving object come within their range when maneuvering, the same around view cameras trigger an audible warning and highlight the rough location of the object on the display screen. High beam assist automatically switches the headlamps from full beam to avoid dazzling other traffic. Reliability. Expect Nissan Qashqai reliability to be relatively strong. There were no major problems with the original Qashqai, although there were some recalls for steering and fuel issues, and some Parkers users complained of rear shock absorber issues in owners' reviews.